Commander Hyunwoo Kim stared at the massive screen in the UN Space Defense Center. The coffee in his hand had gone cold hours ago, but he did not notice. Above Earth's blue skies, dark shapes blocked out the sun over major cities around the world. The alien ships were huge. Each one was bigger than any building humans had ever made. "Sir, we're getting the same readings from all monitoring stations," said Lieutenant Boram Park, her voice shaking slightly. The ships appeared exactly at noon, local time, over New York, London, Tokyo, Moscow, and 12 other major cities. Hyunwoo nodded slowly. After 20 years in the military, he thought he had seen everything. He was wrong. The ships hung in the air like giant metal mountains, casting shadows that stretched for miles. People in the streets below looked up in fear and wonder. Dr. So-Young Park rushed into the control room, her lab coat still on and her hair messy from running. She was Earth's best expert on space and the possibility of alien life. For years, she had wondered if this day would come. Now it was here. "Commander Kim, we need to talk," she said, breathing hard. "I've been studying the energy patterns from those ships. This is not a peaceful visit." Before Hyunwoo could answer, every screen in the room turned bright white. Then a voice filled the air. It spoke perfect English, but there was something cold about it. The voice sounded like it came from a machine, but also from something alive. "People of Earth," the voice said, "I am Admiral Kale Thon of the Galactic Hegemony. Your planet has been chosen for integration into our empire." Dr. So-Young grabbed Hyunwoo's arm. Her face was pale. She had spent her whole life hoping to meet aliens. Now she wished they had never come. The voice continued. "You have 72 hours to make a choice. Submit to our rule and provide 60% of your population as workers for our empire, or we will destroy your entire planet. There is no third option. We have done this 40,000 times before. Every species chooses to submit. You will too." The screens went black. The room fell silent except for the sound of people breathing heavily. Captain Dong-Jun Lee burst through the doors at that moment. His flight suit was still wet with sweat from his emergency patrol mission. He had been in the air when the alien ships appeared, trying to get close enough to see them clearly. "Commander, you need to hear this," Dong-Jun said, his chest rising and falling quickly. "I got within 2 miles of one of their ships before they noticed me. They sent out some kind of small craft to intercept me. It was faster than anything we have, but sir, they didn't shoot me down. They could have, but they didn't. It was like they were playing with me." Dr. So-Young felt her stomach turn cold. "They're not taking us seriously," she said quietly. "To them, we're just another primitive species that will give up without a real fight." Hyunwoo looked around the room at his team. These were good people, smart people, brave people, but they were also scared. He was scared too, but he could not show it. "Get me a line to the president and all world leaders," he ordered. "Emergency protocols. This is not a drill." Within an hour, the emergency session began. Leaders from every nation on Earth appeared on screens around the world. Some looked angry, some looked afraid, and some looked like they wanted to hide under their desks. "We all heard the message," said President Martinez from her secure bunker. "What are our options?" "According to our analysis, we have exactly the options they gave us," said Prime Minister Chen through a shaky video connection. "Submit or die." "No," said Dr. So-Young, stepping forward. "Commander Kim, may I speak?" Hyunwoo nodded. Dr. So-Young had studied space and alien possibilities longer than anyone. If anyone had ideas, it would be her. "I've been analyzing their communication patterns and energy signatures," she began. "These aliens, this galactic hegemony, they've done this many times before. But there's something they don't expect." "What's that?" asked the German chancellor. "Resistance," Dr. So-Young said simply. "Every other species they've conquered gave up immediately. Within hours of first contact, they expect us to do the same." Captain Dong-Jun stepped forward. "Doctor, Park is right. When their interceptor came after me, the pilot seemed surprised that I kept trying to evade instead of just landing and giving up. But what can we do?" asked the Japanese Prime Minister. "Their ships are massive. Our weapons are nothing compared to theirs." Hyunwoo looked at the faces on the screens. Some were already talking about surrender. Others were angry but felt helpless. A few looked ready to fight even if it meant certain death. "We need more information," Hyunwoo said. "Captain Lee, I want you and your squadron to do reconnaissance flights around their ships. Stay far enough away to be safe, but get as much data as you can." "Yes, sir," Dongjun replied. "But Commander, what if they decide our scouting is an always act of war?" "Then we'll know what kind of enemies we're dealing with," Hyunwoo answered. Dr. So-young was already back at her computers, analyzing every bit of data they had collected. The alien ships were using technology far beyond human understanding, but technology still followed certain rules. Every machine had weaknesses. Every system had limits. "Commander," she called out after several minutes of intense work, "I found something interesting. These ships are putting out massive energy signatures, but they're not using shields." "What does that mean?" Hyunwoo asked. "It means they're so confident in their superiority that they don't think they need to protect themselves from us," Dr. So-young explained. "They see us as no threat at all." Captain Dongjun smiled grimly. That might be their first mistake. The next few hours passed quickly. Reports came in from around the world. The alien ships had not moved from their positions over the major cities. They were just waiting, like patient predators watching cornered prey. Meanwhile, Captain Dongjun led his squadron on careful reconnaissance missions. His pilots were the best Earth had, flying the most advanced fighters humans had ever built. But compared to the alien technology, they felt like children with toy planes. "Viper Squadron to base," Dongjun radioed during his third mission. "We're seeing some interesting things up here. The alien ships have smaller craft moving around them, but they're following very predictable patterns, almost like they're programmed." "Copy that, Viper Leader," Hyunwoo responded. "What else can you tell us?" "Their small ships are fast, but they don't seem very maneuverable in close quarters. And Commander, I think they're scanning us more than guarding against us, like they're studying us." Dr. So-young looked up from her analysis. "That makes sense. They probably scan every species they encounter to understand their technology and psychology. They want to know exactly how primitive we are." As the first day ended, the world's leaders met again. The alien deadline was still more than 48 hours away, but everyone knew that time was running out. "We have 3 options," President Martinez said. "We can surrender and hope they treat us well as slaves. We can refuse and face complete destruction. Or what?" asked the British Prime Minister. "Or we can show them that humans don't fit into their simple categories," Hyunwoo said, stepping forward. "Dr. Park's research shows that every species they've conquered followed the same pattern. They either surrendered immediately or were destroyed quickly. But what if we choose something different?" "What are you suggesting?" asked the Russian president. "I'm suggesting that maybe they've never met a species like us before," Hyunwoo replied. "Maybe they've never met a species that gets more dangerous when cornered instead of more compliant." Dr. So-young nodded enthusiastically. "Commander Kim is right. I've been studying human psychology and history. Humans are different from most intelligent species in one key way. When faced with impossible odds, we don't give up. We get creative. We get stubborn. We get angry." Captain Dongjun grinned. "And we get very, very dangerous." The room fell quiet. As the world leaders considered this, it was a huge risk. If they were wrong, every person on Earth would die. But if they were right, maybe humanity had a chance. "So what exactly are you proposing?" asked the Chinese president. "I'm proposing that we tell these aliens something they've never heard before," Hyunwoo said. "We tell them no. Not surrender, not destruction, but defiance. We show them that Earth is not like their other 40,000 conquests." "And then?" "What?" asked President Martinez. "And then," said Dr. So-young with a fierce look in her eyes, "we show them what happens when you threaten the one species in the galaxy that's too stubborn to know when it's beaten." The decision came at dawn on the second day. Commander Hyunwoo Kim stood before the largest gathering of world leaders in human history. Every president, prime minister, and head of state was connected through secure channels. The alien ships, still hung over Earth's cities like dark clouds promising a storm. The vote is final, President Martinez announced. Humanity chooses defiance. General Miran Choi, who had been quietly listening from her military command post, stepped forward. She was a small woman with steel-gray hair and eyes that had seen too many wars. But she had never seen a war like this one. If we're going to defy them, we need to do it right, General Choi said. This isn't just about brave words. We need a plan that gives us a real chance. Engineer Tae Ho Nam had been working without sleep for 36 hours. His clothes were wrinkled and his hands were stained with oil and metal dust. In front of him lay pieces of wreckage from an alien scout ship that had crashed in the mountains of South Korea 12 hours earlier. General Choi is right, Tae Ho said, looking up from his work, but I might have something that can help. This crashed ship, it's giving us our first real look at their technology. Dr. So Young hurried over to examine the alien debris. The metal was unlike anything on Earth, lighter than aluminum, but stronger than steel. The computer systems used principles of quantum mechanics that human scientists were only beginning to understand. How did it crash? She asked. That's the interesting part, Tae Ho replied. It didn't crash because of mechanical failure. It crashed because the pilot made an error. These aliens, they're not used to flying in Earth's atmosphere. Their ships are designed for space and controlled environments. Captain Dong-Jun Lee walked into the room at that moment, still wearing his flight suit. He had been in the air almost, constantly, gathering information about the alien ships and their patrol patterns. Tae Ho is right about their pilots, Dong-Jun said. I've been watching their small ships for 2 days now. They fly like they're following a computer program. Very precise, very predictable, but not very adaptable. Ambassador Eun Ji-han joined the group. She had spent the last day trying every diplomatic channel possible, attempting to communicate with the aliens. Her news was not encouraging. They won't talk, she reported. I've tried every frequency, every protocol, every method of communication we know. They've completely ignored all of our attempts at negotiation. That tells us something important, Dr. So Young said. They're not interested in negotiation because they've never needed it before. Every other species either surrendered immediately or was destroyed quickly. They don't have protocols for extended resistance. General Choi studied the tactical displays showing the positions of the alien ships. Each one was positioned over a major city, but they had not moved since arriving. They were simply waiting for humanity's answer. We have less than 36 hours before their deadline, she said. If we're going to act, we need to act soon. Engineer Tae Ho held up a small device he had removed from the crashed alien ship. This is some kind of communication relay. If I can reverse engineer it, we might be able to listen to their internal communications. Do it, Hyunwoo ordered. We need every advantage we can get. While Tae Ho worked on the alien technology, Captain Dong-Jun prepared for another reconnaissance mission. This time he was not going alone. His best pilots were ready to fly with him, gathering as much information as possible before the aliens lost patience. Viper Squadron, this is base, Hyunwoo radioed. Your mission is to probe their defenses without triggering a fight. We need to know what we're up against. Understood, base, Dong-Jun replied. We'll be careful but thorough. The squadron of 12 fighters took off from bases around the world. They approached the alien ships from different angles, testing response times and defensive measures. What they found was both encouraging and terrifying. Base, this is Viper 2, reported Lieutenant Soo-Jin Kim. The alien ship over Tokyo just launched interceptors. They're fast, but they're not trying to shoot us down. They're just herding us away. Same here over London, added Lieutenant Jamin Park. It's like they're shooing away annoying insects rather than engaging enemy fighters. Dr. So Young was monitoring all communications from the command center. They're still not taking us seriously, she realized. Even now, with our fighters buzzing around their ships, they see us as a minor irritation rather than a threat. Ambassador Yoonji tried once more to establish communication with the aliens. She broadcast on every frequency, offering to discuss terms, asking for more time, pleading for mercy for Earth's children. The response was always the same: silence. They're not ignoring us because they're arrogant, she said finally. They're ignoring us because they literally don't understand the concept of negotiation with a primitive species. It's like trying to negotiate with ants. Engineer Tejo made a breakthrough late in the second day. He had managed to connect the alien communication device to human computers, and the results were shocking. "I'm picking up their internal communications," he announced excitedly. "And you're not going to believe what they're saying." The alien messages were translated through their computer systems. The conversations were cold and mechanical, like reports between machines rather than living beings. "Target species showing unexpected behavior," one message read. "Normally, primitive species either submit within 6 hours or make futile aggressive moves within 12 hours. This species is doing neither." Another message was even more revealing. "Ground forces report unusual activity. Target species appears to be organizing rather than panicking. This behavior is not in our databases." Dr. So Young felt a strange mixture of fear and hope. "They don't know what to do with us," she said. "For the first time in their history, they're dealing with a species that doesn't fit their standard categories." General Choi was already working on plans based on this new information. "If they don't understand our psychology, we can use that against them. They'll expect us to follow patterns from their previous conquests, but we can do the unexpected." As the second day ended, the world's military forces began moving in secret. Weapons were repositioned, underground bunkers were activated, and communication networks were secured. Humanity was preparing for war, but it was unlike any war they had ever planned. Captain Dongjun returned from his latest reconnaissance mission with important news. "I managed to get very close to one of their ships by flying in the approach pattern of a commercial airliner. Their sensors locked onto me, but they didn't respond until I was almost close enough to touch their hull." "What happened then?" Hyunwoo asked. "They deployed some kind of energy field that pushed my fighter away," Dongjun replied. "Not violently, just firmly, like they were moving an annoying child away from something dangerous." Engineer Tejo had been studying the energy readings from that encounter. "That energy field, I think I understand how it works. It's designed to push away energy weapons and solid projectiles, but it's calibrated for advanced technology." "Meaning what?" General Choi asked. "Meaning it might not work as well against primitive weapons," Tejo said with a grin. "Their shields are designed to stop plasma cannons and fusion missiles, not old-fashioned bullets and explosives." Dr. So Young was working on another angle. She had been studying the psychological profiles of the alien communications, trying to understand how they thought. "They're not evil," she announced. "They're just completely unable to understand resistance. In their experience, intelligent species either surrender or die quickly. The concept of prolonged resistance is literally outside their mental framework." Ambassador Yoonji looked thoughtful. "That might be our greatest advantage. If they can't understand us, they can't predict us." With 18 hours left until the alien deadline, humanity made its final preparations. Military units around the world received new orders based on the intelligence gathered from the crashed ship and reconnaissance flights. "Remember, General," Choi addressed her commanders, "we're not trying to win a conventional war. We're trying to do something they've never seen before. We're going to show them what happens when humans refuse to quit." Engineer Tejo was working frantically on his most ambitious project yet. Using the alien technology from the crashed ship, he was trying to build weapons that could actually damage the alien vessels. "It's crude, but it might work," he said, showing his designs to the command team. "If we can get close enough to their ships, these modified warheads might be able to penetrate their shields." Captain Dongjun studied the weapons plans. "Getting close enough won't be easy. Their interceptors are faster than anything we have. Then we'll have to be smarter than they are," Dongjun replied. "And luckier." As the final hours approached, the alien ships began to show signs of activity. Their energy outputs increased, and more small craft were seen moving around the massive vessels. "They're preparing for our answer," Dr. So Young observed. "In a few hours, they'll expect us to either surrender or make some kind of desperate doomed attack. Then let's not disappoint them," Hyunwoo said grimly. "But let's make sure we give them the kind of answer they'll never forget." The stage was set for humanity's response to the galactic hegemony. In a few hours, Earth would give its answer to the ultimatum. The final hour arrived with the sound of air raid sirens echoing across every major city on Earth. But these were not warnings of incoming attacks. They were signals for humanity's answer to the galactic hegemony. Commander Hyunwoo Kim stood in the Global Command Center, surrounded by screens showing military units around the world. In just minutes, humanity would launch Operation Impossible Odds, the most desperate military action in human history. "All units report ready," announced Colonel Woo Jin Park, commander of Earth's Special Operations Forces. His team had spent the last day preparing for missions that everyone knew were likely one-way trips. Scientist Hee Jin-yoon rushed into the command center carrying a metal cylinder the size of a coffee can. Her hands were shaking slightly, but her voice was steady. "The quantum torpedoes are ready," she announced. "We've managed to build 12 of them using the technology from the crashed alien ship. They're crude, but our tests show they can disrupt their shield systems." Admiral Sung Ho Jang appeared on the main screen from his ship in the Pacific Ocean. Behind him, the massive form of humanity's largest aircraft carrier was barely visible in the pre-dawn darkness. "Naval units are in position," he reported. "We've retrofitted every ship we have with the new weapons. It's not much, but it's what we've got." Dr. So-young Park was monitoring alien communications from her station. The intercepted messages showed growing confusion among the alien forces as they detected unusual movement patterns from human military units. "They're trying to understand what we're doing," she reported. "Their computers keep running analysis programs, but they can't find a match for our behavior in their databases." Captain Dong-Jun Lee was already in his fighter, sitting on the runway with 11 other pilots. Their aircraft had been modified with the quantum torpedoes, turning the sleek fighters into flying bombs. The mission was simple: get close enough to the alien ships to deliver their weapons, knowing that none of them would likely return. "Viper Squadron ready for takeoff," Dong-Jun radioed. "All pilots understand the mission parameters." "Understood, Viper Leader," Hyunwoo replied. "Remember, this isn't about winning. This is about showing them who we are." The alien deadline passed without ceremony. At exactly the appointed time, Admiral Kale Thon's voice once again filled the airwaves around Earth. "Your time has expired," the cold alien voice announced. "You have chosen destruction. We will now demonstrate our power with a limited attack on your military installations. After you witness our capabilities, you will have one final chance to surrender." The first alien attack came exactly as predicted. Energy beams lanced down from the massive ships, striking military bases around the world. The weapons were precise and devastating, turning concrete and steel into glowing slag in seconds. But something unexpected happened. Instead of cowering in fear, humanity attacked back. "All units, execute Operation Impossible Odds," Hyunwoo commanded. Captain Dong-Jun's fighter squadron launched from bases around the world. At the same time, Colonel Park's Special Forces teams activated hidden rocket packs and began their assault on the alien ships from below. Admiral Jang's naval forces opened fire with every weapon they had, from conventional missiles to the new quantum torpedoes. The attacks were coming from so many directions that the alien computers couldn't process them all at once. "Direct hit on the ship over New York," reported Lieutenant Min-Soo Choi from his fighter as he guided a quantum torpedo into the alien vessel's hull. "Their shields are flickering." The alien ship retaliated immediately, destroying Min-Soo's fighter with a precise energy blast. But the damage was done. For the first time since arriving at Earth, an alien ship had taken actual damage from human weapons. Colonel Park's team was using modified space shuttles to board the alien ships. The shuttles were loaded with explosives and guided by volunteer pilots who knew they would not survive the mission. "Boarding Team Alpha has penetrated the ship over London," Park radioed, "beginning internal sabotage operations now." The aliens were completely unprepared for boarding actions. Their ship designs assumed that enemy forces would attack from a distance using energy weapons. The idea of primitive beings physically entering their vessels was so foreign to them that they had no effective countermeasures. "This is incredible," Dr. So-young reported as she monitored the battle. "Their defensive systems are designed for space combat against advanced civilizations. They literally don't know how to fight against our tactics." Scientist He Jin was coordinating the quantum torpedo attacks from the command center. Each successful hit provided valuable data about alien shield technology and ship construction. "The quantum disruption is working better than expected," she announced excitedly. "Their shields are calibrated for energy weapons from other galactic civilizations. Our torpedoes use completely different principles, so their defenses can't adapt quickly enough." Admiral Zhang's forces were discovering their own advantages. The alien ships were massive and powerful, but they were also slow and unwieldy in Earth's atmosphere. Human ships, designed for operation on a planet with weather and obstacles, were much more maneuverable. "We're getting inside their defensive perimeter," Zhang reported. "Their big guns can't target us when we're this close to their hulls." The turning point of the battle came when Captain Dong Jun attempted something that no sane pilot would consider. Flying his fighter directly at the alien mothership's main weapon, he used his aircraft as a guided missile while ejecting at the last possible second. "Viper leader to all units," he radioed as he fell toward Earth in his parachute. "I've taken out their main cannon. The ship over Tokyo is vulnerable." The explosion of Dongjun's fighter inside the alien weapon system caused a chain reaction. The massive energy buildup that had been preparing to destroy Tokyo instead turned inward, severely damaging the alien ship's power systems. For the first time in over 5,000 years, a ship of the galactic hegemony was forced to make an emergency landing due to enemy action. "Impossible," Admiral Kale Than's voice crackled over the communication channels. "How are they doing this? Their technology is primitive. Their tactics are illogical." Colonel Park's boarding teams were having success beyond anyone's expectations. The aliens had never faced enemies who would willingly sacrifice themselves to cause damage. Every boarding action involved humans detonating explosives inside the alien ships, caring nothing for their own survival. "Boarding Team Charlie has reached the engine compartment of the ship over Berlin," reported Captain Ji-Hoon Shin, just before his radio went silent. Seconds later, the alien ship's engines failed, and the massive vessel began an uncontrolled descent toward the ground. Dr. So-Young was listening to increasingly frantic alien communications. The cold, mechanical voices were showing something that sounded almost like panic. "They're requesting immediate reinforcements," she translated. "Admiral Kale Than is reporting that Earth's resistance is beyond all known parameters, and that standard suppression protocols are ineffective." Scientist He Jin had been analyzing the battle results in real time. The data was both encouraging and sobering. "We've damaged or destroyed 4 of their 15 ships," she reported. "But we've lost over 60% of our attacking forces. We can't sustain this rate of casualties much longer." Admiral Zhang was coordinating the naval portion of the assault. His ships were using tactics that the aliens had never encountered: ramming attacks, point-blank bombardments, and kamikaze runs with explosive-laden vessels. "The ship over San Francisco is listing heavily," he reported. "Our ramming attack with the USS Constitution opened a massive breach in their hull." The USS Constitution had been a museum ship until yesterday. Now it was a flaming wreck embedded in the side of an alien dreadnought, its volunteer crew having given their lives to prove that human determination could overcome any technological advantage. As the battle raged, more alien ships arrived in Earth's orbit. But something had changed. Instead of the confident deployment of overwhelming force, these reinforcements approached cautiously, maintaining distance from Earth's surface. "They're scared," Dr. So-Young realized with amazement. For the first time in their history, they're approaching a planet with caution instead of arrogance. Captain Dongjun, who had been rescued after his dramatic attack, was already back in a new fighter. The quantum torpedo mounted under his wing was the last one Earth possessed. "This is it," he radioed to the command center. "One more shot. Make it count, Captain," Hyunwoo replied. Dongjun's final attack was a masterpiece of desperate courage. Flying through a storm of alien defensive fire, he managed to deliver his quantum torpedo directly into the command section of Admiral Kale Than's flagship. The explosion tore through the alien ship's bridge, killing Admiral Kale Than and destroying the fleet's command structure. The remaining alien ships, suddenly leaderless and facing an enemy they could not understand, began to retreat to higher orbits. "They're pulling back," Colonel Park reported in amazement. "The aliens are actually retreating." For the first time Since the aliens arrived, the skies over Earth's cities were clear. The immediate threat was over, but everyone knew this was just the beginning. "We hurt them," Yunwoo said grimly. "But they'll be back, and next time, they'll know what to expect." 3 months had passed since the first alien attack, and Earth was a very different world. The skies that had been clear after humanity's first victory were once again filled with alien ships. But this time, there were hundreds of them. President Jinho Seo stood in the deep underground command center that had become Earth's new capital. Above them, Seoul was under constant bombardment from the Galactic Hegemony's reinforcement fleet. But the city still stood, protected by shield generators built from captured alien technology. "Status report," President Seo demanded as he entered the war room. General Yoojin Kim emerged from a side tunnel, her uniform dusty from the underground construction work. For 3 months, humanity had been building a hidden world beneath the surface, preparing for this moment. "The tunnel networks are complete," she reported. "We have underground cities connected by transport tubes spanning every continent. The aliens can bomb the surface all they want, but humanity will survive." Dr. Minho Choi was brought into the command center under guard. He had been captured during the first battle, taken aboard an alien ship before it crashed. But instead of being imprisoned, he had been studying the aliens from the inside. Now he was back, and his information was invaluable. "The hegemony has committed their entire sector fleet to Earth," Minho reported. "Over 300 ships, including their most advanced dreadnoughts. But there's something else. They're scared." "Scared of what?" President Seo asked. "Scared of us," Minho replied. "I was aboard their ships for 2 months. I listened to their communications, studied their psychology. They've never encountered a species like humans. Every other race they conquered either gave up immediately or was destroyed quickly. We're the first species to fight back, adapt, and keep fighting." Engineer Taiho Nam had been working without rest, combining human ingenuity with alien technology. The workshops hidden beneath major cities were producing weapons that neither species could have created alone. "We've made significant improvements to our quantum weapons," Taiho announced. "The new torpedoes are 50 times more effective than our first attempts, and we've built something else they won't expect." He led them to a massive underground hangar where teams of workers were putting finishing touches on strange-looking spacecraft. The ships were clearly built using alien technology, but they looked wrong somehow, as if human hands had twisted the design into something new. "Hybrid fighters," Taiho explained proudly. "Human pilots, alien engines, and weapons, systems that combine both technologies. The aliens won't know how to fight them, because they've never seen anything like them." Captain Dongjun Lee was training a new generation of pilots on the hybrid fighters. The young men and women were learning to fly ships that behaved unlike anything in Earth's history. "The controls are intuitive once you get used to them," Dongjun explained to his students. "The alien technology responds to neural commands, but it's been modified to work with human brain patterns. You'll be thinking your way through combat at speeds the aliens can't match." Above ground, the alien bombardment continued day and night. The hegemony was using every psychological weapon in their arsenal, broadcasting surrender demands, showing images of destroyed worlds, and threatening complete extermination. But humanity was no longer listening. After 3 months of constant attack, something had changed in the human spirit. Fear had been replaced by a cold, determined anger. Scientist Hae-jin Yoon was working in her underground laboratory, surrounded by alien technology and human innovation. She had made a discovery that would change everything. "I figured out how their main computers work," she announced to the command staff. "The hegemony uses artificial intelligence systems to coordinate their fleets. These AI systems are incredibly advanced, but they have one critical weakness." "What weakness?" General Kim asked. "They're programmed to fight logical opponents," Hee-jin explained. "The AI assumes that every enemy will follow rational military strategies. But humans don't always fight rationally. We fight emotionally, creatively, chaotically. Their computers literally cannot predict our actions." Dr. Minho nodded in agreement. "That's exactly what I observed aboard their ships. Their battle computers kept trying to analyze human tactics, but they couldn't find patterns because we keep doing things that don't make sense from a purely logical standpoint. Colonel Woo Jin Park had been organizing the underground resistance. His special forces teams had become masters of guerrilla warfare, striking at alien ground forces and disappearing into the tunnel networks. "We've learned to turn their strength against them," Park reported. "Their troops are heavily armed and well-trained, but they're designed for conventional warfare. They don't know how to fight an enemy that refuses to face them in open battle." The underground cities were marvels of human engineering and alien technology working together. Families lived in comfortable chambers carved from solid rock, while factories produced weapons and fighters worked around the clock. Children attended school in classrooms that had never seen sunlight, learning mathematics, science, and most importantly, how to hate tyranny. Admiral Sung-Ho Jang was commanding Earth's hidden fleet from an underwater base in the Pacific. The submarines and surface ships had been modified with alien technology, making them invisible to hegemony sensors. "We've been running hit-and-run attacks on their supply ships," Jang reported. "Every time they send reinforcements or supplies to Earth, we hit them during atmospheric entry when they're most vulnerable." The aliens had tried every strategy they knew. They had bombed population centers, attacked military installations, and attempted to cut off human supply lines. But each attack only made humanity more determined. "They don't understand us," Dr. So-Young Park observed during one of the daily strategy meetings. "They think that if they cause enough damage, we'll eventually surrender. But the opposite is happening. Every attack makes us more united, more creative, more dangerous." The turning point came when humanity launched Operation Impossible Odds 2. Captain Dong Jun led a squadron of the new hybrid fighters in a direct assault on the alien. "Command ship, this is Viper Leader," Dong Jun radioed as his squadron approached the massive alien dreadnought. Beginning attack run on the flagship. The hybrid fighters moved through space in ways that confused the alien computers. They could accelerate like alien ships but maneuver like human fighters. Their weapons used human targeting systems with alien power sources, creating combinations the hegemony had never encountered. "Direct hit on their command tower," reported Lieutenant Kyung-Ho Kim as his quantum torpedo punched through the alien shields. "Their communications array is down." The attack was supported by a coordinated ground assault. Colonel Park's teams emerged from hidden tunnels directly beneath alien landing sites, attacking with weapons that combined human explosives with alien energy systems. "Ground teams Alpha through Delta are engaging the enemy at landing sites worldwide," Park reported. "We're using their own teleportation technology against them." But the most devastating part of the attack came from an unexpected source. Dr. Minho had developed a computer virus based on his time aboard alien ships. The virus was designed to exploit the logical thinking patterns of alien AI systems. "Uploading the virus now," Minho announced from his position aboard a captured alien shuttle. "Their computers won't know how to respond to completely irrational commands." The virus spread through the alien fleet's communication networks like wildfire. Suddenly, alien ships began receiving orders that made no sense. Attack their own allies, retreat from winning battles, shut down weapons during combat. "It's working," scientist Hae Jin reported with excitement. "Their AI systems are trying to analyze the virus commands, but they can't understand the logic because there isn't any logic. It's pure human chaos translated into computer code." The alien fleet began to fall apart. Ships collided with each other as their navigation systems received conflicting orders. Weapons fired randomly as targeting computers tried to process impossible instructions. "The enemy flagship is breaking orbit," Admiral Jang reported. "They're retreating to the outer system." But humanity was not finished. President Seo had authorized the use of Earth's most secret weapon. Captured alien ships piloted by volunteer crews who had been trained in underground facilities. "Ghost Squadron, you are cleared for launch," Commander Hyunwoo Kim ordered. 20 captured alien dreadnoughts rose from hidden bases around the world. They had been repaired and modified with human technology, creating hybrid warships that confused every alien sensor system. "This is Ghost Leader," radioed Captain Soo-Jin Park from the bridge of a captured alien ship. "We are engaging the enemy fleet with their own weapons." The battle that followed was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Human crews fought alien ships using alien technology, modified with human creativity. The hegemony fleet found itself under attack by ships they couldn't identify using tactics they couldn't understand. Enemy fleet is in full retreat, reported Dr. So Young from her monitoring station. They're abandoning Earth orbit and heading for deep space. But as the immediate threat ended, new challenges appeared. The retreating alien fleet was sending messages throughout the galaxy, calling for massive reinforcements and reporting that Earth represented an 1 year after the first alien ship appeared over Earth. Fleet Admiral Seok Jin-oh stood on the bridge of humanity's new flagship. The ship was a marvel of engineering that combined the best of human and alien technology, but it looked like nothing else in the galaxy. Status report from all fronts, Admiral Oh commanded. Director Gae-young Lee appeared on the main screen from her position aboard the orbiting shipyard that humanity had built from captured alien vessels. Around her, teams of human and alien engineers worked side by side, building weapons that neither species could have imagined alone. Production is exceeding all expectations, Director Lee reported. We now have a fleet of over 50 hybrid warships and our manufacturing capacity doubles every month. The impossible had happened. Not only had humanity survived the galactic hegemony's attacks, but they had grown stronger with each battle. The underground cities had evolved into manufacturing centers that produced technology beyond anything Earth had known. Ambassador Ji-hoon Kim joined the conversation from his position in the diplomatic quarters. He was preparing for humanity's first official contact with other species in the galaxy, species that had heard about Earth's resistance and wanted to learn more. We've received communications from over 200 worlds within hegemony space, Ambassador Kim reported. They want to know how we did it, how a primitive species managed to not only resist, but actually defeat hegemony forces. Engineer Tae-ho Nam was working in his laboratory, surrounded by technology that would have seemed like magic just 1 year ago. He had become Earth's leading expert on combining human innovation with alien science. The key was never trying to copy their technology. Exactly, Tae-ho explained to his team. Instead, we took their designs and asked a very human question. How can we make this better? Captain Dong-jun Lee was training the pilots who would crew humanity's new fleet. These young men and women were learning to fly ships that moved faster than light and fought battles across star systems. Remember, Dong-jun told his students, you're not just representing Earth anymore. You're representing the idea that freedom is more powerful than oppression, that creativity is more valuable than conformity. The final battle for Earth came when the galactic hegemony committed its entire central fleet to destroying humanity. Over 1,000 alien warships arrived in Earth's solar system, led by Supreme Admiral Vex Kalar, the most feared military commander in hegemony history. People of Earth, the alien commander's voice echoed across all communication channels. You have caused enough chaos. Your resistance ends today. But Earth was no longer the same world the aliens had first encountered. The planet was now surrounded by orbital defense platforms built from alien technology and human determination. The underground cities had become the manufacturing heart of a resistance movement that spanned multiple star systems. This is Fleet Admiral O to all units, the human commander announced. Today we show the galaxy what happens when you corner the human race. The battle began with the largest space engagement in galactic history. Over 1,000 alien ships faced a combined human fleet of hybrid vessels, captured alien dreadnoughts, and completely new ship designs that confused every alien sensor. Director Gae-young coordinated the defensive systems from her command center. The orbital platforms around Earth opened fire with weapons that combined human creativity with alien power, creating effects that the hegemony computers couldn't analyze. All defense platforms firing, she reported. Enemy shields are holding, but they're having trouble targeting our platforms. They keep expecting our weapons to behave like normal alien technology. The space battle was supported by ground-based weapons that no other species would have considered practical. Humanity had built massive railguns that fired projectiles at significant fractions of light speed, turning simple metal rods into devastating anti-ship weapons. Ground Battery 7 reports direct hit on enemy cruiser, announced General Yoo-jin Kim from her command bunker. The ship's breaking apart. But the true surprise came when humanity's secret allies revealed themselves. Ambassador Ji-hun had been working for months to coordinate with other species that wanted freedom from hegemony rule. "This is Fleet Admiral." "Out to all units," the human commander announced. "Welcome our allies to the battle." Ships from dozens of species emerged from hiding behind Earth's moon and throughout the solar system. They were species that had been conquered by the hegemony, but had never forgotten their desire for freedom. "The Zenthari fleet is engaging the enemy's left flank," reported Captain Sujin Park from her position aboard a hybrid cruiser. "The Corvani ships are attacking their supply lines." The alien species fighting alongside humanity were using tactics they had learned from human resistance fighters. Instead of the formal battle lines that the hegemony expected, they fought chaotically, unpredictably, with the desperate creativity of beings who had nothing left to lose. Dr. Minho Choi was coordinating electronic warfare from his position aboard the flagship. His computer viruses had evolved into sophisticated programs that could turn alien AI systems against their creators. "Uploading the final virus package," Minho announced. "This one is special. I call it the human logic paradox." The virus spread through the hegemony fleet's command networks, presenting their computers with problems that had no logical solutions, but demanded immediate action. The AI systems began shutting down rather than process the impossible commands. "Enemy flagship is losing power," reported scientist Hae-Jin Yoon from her monitoring station. "Their main computer is stuck in an infinite loop trying to understand why humans would risk everything for an abstract concept like freedom." Captain Dongjun was leading the final assault on Supreme Admiral Vex Kalar's command ship. His squadron of hybrid fighters moved through space in patterns that looked random, but were actually based on human combat instincts. "This is Viper Leader beginning final attack run," Dongjun radioed. "All units, remember what we're fighting for." The assault on the alien flagship was a masterpiece of human determination and alien technology working together. Fighters attacked from impossible angles while boarding parties used captured teleportation technology to appear directly inside the enemy ship. "Boarding teams have reached the bridge," reported Colonel Woojin Park, as his soldiers fought their way through the alien ship's corridors. "Engaging enemy command staff now." The battle for the ship's bridge was brief but decisive. The alien commanders, faced with human soldiers who fought with a ferocity they couldn't understand, surrendered rather than face complete destruction. "Supreme Admiral Vex Kalar is requesting terms," Admiral O announced with amazement. "The hegemony flagship is surrendering." As word of the surrender spread through the alien fleet, something unprecedented happened. Ship after ship began standing down, their crews unwilling to continue fighting an enemy that had proven impossible to defeat. "The entire enemy fleet is surrendering," Director Ga Young reported in disbelief. "Over 1,000 ships are requesting permission to withdraw from Earth space." But humanity's victory was about more than just winning a battle. Ambassador Ji-hun was already working on the diplomatic framework that would reshape the galaxy. "We're not going to rule them," he announced, during the surrender negotiations. "We're going to show them a better way. A way where species cooperate instead of conquering each other." The galactic hegemony, faced with the first military defeat in its 5,000-year history, agreed to unprecedented terms. Conquered worlds would be given the choice of independence. Species that wanted freedom would be allowed to govern themselves. "It's over," President Jin-Ho Seo announced to the people of Earth from his underground command center. "Not just the war, but the age of galactic tyranny. We've shown the galaxy that freedom is stronger than oppression." In the months that followed, Earth became the center of a new galactic confederation. Species from across the galaxy came to learn about human concepts like democracy, individual rights, and the idea that government should serve the people rather than rule them. Engineer Tae-ho found himself teaching alien scientists about human innovation. "The secret isn't in the technology," he explained to a gathering of galactic engineers. "The secret is in never accepting that something is impossible." Fleet Admiral O was appointed as the first commander of the Galactic Defense Force, a voluntary organization dedicated to protecting free worlds from tyranny. His fleet included ships from hundreds of species, all working together to ensure that no world would ever again face conquest alone. 10 years ago, humanity didn't even know there were other species in the galaxy. Admiral O reflected during a ceremony marking the anniversary of first contact. Today, we're helping to build a galaxy where all species can live in freedom. Director Gay-Young established the Galactic Technology Sharing Initiative, where species work together to solve problems and advance knowledge. The combination of human creativity with alien science was producing innovations that benefited everyone. We've learned that the best technology comes not from one species trying to dominate others, she said, but from different species working together, each contributing their unique strengths. Ambassador Ji-hun became the first human representative to the Galactic Council, a new governing body where each member species